Hey folks, Quilly18 here, and welcome to another Unity tutorial where we make a clone of Flappy Bird. We're going to call this one ClonyBird. We've got our nice background going on now. We've got our ability to sort of move and flap around. We don't yet have a ceiling to the game, which is certainly not quite right, but we do have the ability to die if we collide with the ground. So that makes us pretty happy. We're now going to add in the pipes, which is really the core challenge of the game. I mean, keeping altitude at all is fine. That's easy, right? But avoiding the pipes, that's the hard part that comes in. So we do have some sprites somewhere in here for our pipes. There we go. So we've got a one at the top, and this is our bottom sprite here. Now, we're always going to have these locked together as a pair. That's always going to be the case in the way that the default Flappy Bird kind of game works. So we'll just create a pipes object here. We're going to drop both those sprites inside of that. We're going to zoom in on here, and what we're going to do is on both pipe, we're going to set the X to be, well, 0 locally to whatever the pipes object is. In fact, right now I'll just center the pipes object. Well, we'll move it over here. We'll make sure that the Y is centered. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top pipe, and we're going to move it directly upwards. And we're going to figure out how big of a gap we want. I think something like that is probably what we're looking for. And then this guy, we're going to move it upwards. And we're really seeing that there's a real limit based on how things are set up right now to how much space. You know, that might not be enough space. We'll have an easier version of this. We'll have, no, that's too much. That's way too much. Something like that. There we go. All right. And then let me bring the pipe down so we can see the absolute top. There we are. So basically, this is going to work very, very, very similarly to our background object. In fact, we're going to make sure these are on the default layer. We're going to give both of these a box collider. Box collider 1, box collider 2. Excellent. And in fact, if we hit play right now, we could... that's not bad. And then smack into one of them. Why did we not collide with that? What did we do wrong? Ground? I shouldn't need a rigid body on there. Should be static. Okay, what are you... Oh, did I have something... Conflicts with the existing box collider derived... What are you talking about? I can have both a collider and a rigid body. What the hell are you doing, game? Okay, remove. Rigid body. Box collider. Oh, I had the regular 3D version of the box collider on there. Okay, box collider 2D looks good. Box collider 2D. Now let's see if we can collide. That would certainly be a problem. And smack. It didn't look like I died instantly. Maybe it was still playing. Oh, I was mid-flap, so it was finishing the flap animation before I died. So let's consider that. Go to our animator over here. If we're currently flapping, we want to make a transition to bird death if the death trigger happens. We were never noticing that with the ground because, of course, we were never flapping while we collide in the ground. But now, there we are, and we die instantly. Oh, and that's actually very entertaining. I like that a lot. And, of course, we can fly between the pipes relatively easily as well. And that's a generous amount of distance. In fact, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that we should rearrange the camera because this distance between pipes is too much. We definitely need them to be closer. Something more like that, I think. But the problem is, this does not give us a whole lot of, like, wiggle room for height. That's just, like, even, like, this is as high as we can really go. So, no, that's no good. We need our camera here is too big. We'll set it to, like, 1.2. And... actually, that might do just fine. So now if we take the pipes, how much wiggle... watch down here, how much wiggle room we've got. We can go from here to there. Of course, I can make the graphics longer, but I think that... let's go with a size 1 camera and move it downwards to just see a little bit of the ground. and now take the pipes. So I can go as low as, wow, actually low enough to go into the ground, and then here. And you know what? I think this is much more proper Flappy Bird. So let's go, and I'm actually going to make some prefabs here. Just make it a little easier to keep things here. We'll prefab the background as well, not that it really matters too much. So our pipes here, I'm going to take these guys and double them up, move them here as high as possible. I'm going to double them up again, move them over here, and I can't actually see. Actually, let's take my middle pipes, move them down as much as possible. There, minimum to sort of there. Okay, and let's play this and see what it looks like and feels like. Oh, that feels pretty rough, which is exactly the way it should be. Oh, also inappropriate, like, collision there. That didn't feel like it should have been a collision, which is perfect for ClonyBird. That's exactly the sort of thing we're going for. Oop, down, okay, up, there. Doable, but difficult. Not impossibly so, and that should be fine. Good. That's great. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to... let me think here. I can't really use the same looping technique as in... Or can I? No, I can. All right, let me knock this down to just one pipe here again. All right, and try to explain what's going on. I'm trying to figure out a way to have the pipes trigger on the... Where's the camera? On the BG looper. But BG looper is dependent on the width of the object. However, what I can do is on my actual pipes object, not the two hard collision boxes, but the base pipes object, I can add a 2D trigger, which will work fine. Set the vertical size to whatever, it doesn't actually matter. You know, something big. And the width is, let's make it like 1.4. Now, let's not maximize the view. And let's take these and actually put them behind the bird so I don't have to worry about colliding. Well, actually, here's a good question. Let's make sure it doesn't collide with the trigger box. And it doesn't. If I do this, it should warp the pipes forward. Perfect. So, what I can do is take these pipes and arrange a series of them. I just have to make sure they, they should overlap slightly. Good. Excellent. And take these two, double them up, move over this way. Oops. A little closer. I mean, this is not a great way of doing it, but it'll work. There we go. Take this whole set, double them up one more time, get another set of pipes over here. This is so not the ideal way of doing it, but what the hell. Grab all of them. Looks like we need to move them slightly closer. Just a bit. There's some gaps, but there, that's pretty good. It should be a pretty consistent amount of space. And what I want to do is every time we hit a pipe, I want to change the up and downness of it, basically. Because right now, we're not maximizing on play, which means I can do this. And as we go through, it should just keep setting pipes ahead of us. Ooh. Oh. I really only need 6. That's right, because otherwise it's going to go not be right, because the number of background elements I have set in is 6. I should really not just be eyeballing these things. Well, I know that the size of this collider is 1.4. And actually, I think they're a little too spaced out. Let's go with 1.2. We're going to set this X position to 3 to start off with, so you can just see the edge of it. So we're going to double this up and set the new one to be 4.2. There, that should be much more precise. Double it up, set the next one to be 5.4. Double it up, set this one to be 6.6. Double it up, 7.8. double it up, and 9. So assuming I didn't fail at math completely, these should stay not right. Why is that? Or am I screwing up? Because this should hit, it should move, where's my calculator? Calc. It should move 1.2 times 6, minus 0.6, so plus 3, moves me to 9.6. Oh, no, it's not right, because, oh, the half offset. Why do the others need a half offset? It's probably because it's got a stupid amount of overlap going on here. Is that what's screwing things up? Whoops. Which one is this? The one at the bottom. Let's grab these. Do this. Background sky. Size is 1.44. X is stupidly offset. Double. Yeah, my tiling's no good. Is that fine? No, it's really not. I gotta think about this. Why? Undo, 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 undo. Get all this back in space. Background looper. Let's remove the half a unit offset here. Now this should work fine with the pipes, is what I feel like. And indeed it does. Okay, the problem with the background is because they're overlapping, there's that unfortunate gap and all kinds of silly things. I understand now. So really, I just want to make it so that I'm doing this correctly. Overlap be damned. And really, it just means I need to adjust my actual image sprite, because it's the thing that's not looping properly. Okay. So, set this to 0. Duplicate this guy. And go to 1.44. Duplicate. This, there is some easier tools to do this arrangement, but 2.88. Good. Duplicate. Where's the calculator? So we want 1.44 times 3, which is that. Duplicate 1.44 times 4, which is that. Duplicate, that'll be the number 6. So 1.44 times 5, 7.2, there. So yeah, that half a unit thing was like a stupidity from the start. There's a little bit of pixel imprecision. Let me see here. In our sprites, let's remove the filter mode. We're going to set it to point filter. Does that make it better? Oh, it certainly does. There we go. I mean, there's still some imprecision in terms of the actual tiling, but we've got rid of that stupid line. And really, we want point sampling is what we want for like proper pixel graphics. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Certainly, yeah, we've got to fix our ground in the exact same way we just did our ceiling. Boom, leaving that. Set it at 0, so 1.54 is what we want. So grab the first one, duplicate it, set it to 1.54. Second one, duplicate it. So we're going to want 1.54 times 2, which is 3.8. Duplicate it. So 1.54 times, wow, what am I doing? Clear. 1.54 times 3. Boom. duplicate, 1.54 times 4. This is such a sloppy way to do things. Really, what you want is you want to set this up built automatically. You just want to have like one of each, or have this background thing. That would actually be the ideal. Not manually place these children. Instead, the background have a script on here pointing to a prefab of the ground and a prefab of the sky. Have it instantiate each one with the correct amount of spacing in between is the right way of doing it. But, you know, we're not going to do that. 1.54 times 5, because this will work good enough. And that is all we're looking for. There we go. Slight potential glitchiness every now and again between there, but again, we'll just call it good enough and not worry about it too much. Okay, good. So, what are we going to do here? These pipes, we are going to add a new tag. Game tag. Layers, tags. Tag number 1. Tag number 1, element 0 is going to be called pipe. Boom. So all these pipes here, we're going to flag with the tag of pipe. Then our background looper, when it does the collision, it's going to move things forward. If collider.tag, no autocomplete, .tag equals pipe, then we also want to move, come on, change the up-downiness of things. So we're probably going to hard code in some numbers here because that's just the way we roll around here. So our first pipe, which is this guy over here, again, we're going to move it to the absolute top position where it still looks like a pipe, which is around here. So we're going to go and set float pipe max equals this. Actually, I think technically this is going to be a minimum. Oh, no, I'm wrong. And then pipe minimum is going to be something like this. Float pipe min equals that. So if the collider is that, then, actually, before we set the position, if the collider is actually a pipe, so C net put in pip, then we are going to set pause.y to be equal to, I guess we'll do mathf.lerp. Well, we can just do a random, can't we? Yeah, derp. We can do random.range between pipe min and pipe max. So give me a random number from there to there and set the y to that. Which should work. Oh, these have to be flagged as floats instead of the doubles, which is what it's normally in there. Also, the pipes really need to be set randomly the first time, too. Actually, there we go. We'll just do something like this. Void start game object dot find game objects with tag of pipe. This will return an array of game objects. For each game object, pipe in pipes, we're going to basically copy and paste, which is never a good thing. We should really have a function to do this. But we're going to go and grab the current position of the pipe, not changing the x anymore. We're going to set the position of y to be between the random range, and then reassign it, like so. So, our BG looper, which is only supposed to be looping the background, but is also now responsible for looping the pipes, which is also responsible for initializing the pipes, because this is not the way you program things, but it gets the job done. So, with that done, if we hit play, we should get random pipe positions, and we do, and we hit play again, and we get another set of pipe positions, and we hit again, we get another set of pipe positions. Alright, let's try flying through these. Wow, this is Flappy Bird. I suppose I should maybe turn my guy invulnerable here as a to test. Son of a bitch! Alright, player bird. We are going to make you, we're going to add a cheat function to you. Bird movement. We're going to add public bool God mode equals false. If God mode, return. So if we're in God mode, then just ignore collisions. And then we're going to turn on God mode and hit play. Good. Still get a little bit of an issue if we hit a pipe, but we should be able to work things out. Yeah, no, that works. It slowed down a bit when we hit the pipe, but other than that, hell, we could even add lives to this game. Oh, there we are. We're fine. Let me find the player bird. Zoom out a whole bunch. And just keep watching the pipes. I feel like my bird isn't a permanent down-facing thing. That might be an effect from God mode. We could also make it when it's going up to actually face upwards, which might be a good idea. Getting some like weirdness in the back. Just with the edges not quite working out exactly. And almost certainly those are rounding errors. Sprites. We do have point. Should we like turn off the compression? Would that be good for us? Might not, still not be the problem. Oh, but it might be. Because we don't actually need that one sprite compressed. Because it's the only graphic we have in the game. So, it might actually be it. Technically makes the thing load faster if it's not there. Wow, it is so easy to like get smashed on this, which is entirely accurate. Oh, there's another death. Although certainly doing okay. Again, I can move to the mouse. Oh, no, there we go. I think we're getting rounding errors. After we've just like looped too much. Yeah. So they're not lining up exactly right anymore. I don't know if I'm going to bother fixing this. I believe the right way to fix it would be instead of just... It's because floating point numbers don't actually add properly. So what we'd want to do is change the way that things move forward. Potentially... Well, first of all, if you made the backgrounds like a more equal sort of width, that wouldn't require... So like right now, my backgrounds have like a width of like, what, 1.44 and 1.54. If you had them just be like 2, just make them 2 wide, then I think the floating point rounding numbers would go away. But the other way of doing it is instead of having BG Looper move them forward certain number of like pixels to the right, well, they're not actually pixels, but you know, whatever. If instead of doing that, we just we gave the instruction to the background piece to move itself by 1 iteration. We would just tell it, like, if the background were actually responsible for moving things, and internally it kept a count of its position, I am, 5 over. And then every time it collides with the background looper, just like add +6 to that. So I should now be 11 over, and I know my width is 1.44, so now I'm 1.4, my x is equal to 1.44 times 11. And then next time it'll be times 17. Because I think it's the error that builds up frame after frame after frame is the problem. I don't think I'm going to bother fixing it in this particular example. I will leave that as an exercise to the viewer. Next thing we'd like to do is add scores. So let's do that. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.